Hey, it's Les from the TV Dudes. This week, I got to chat with actor Joshua Bitton. He plays Chewy on the CBS All Access series $1. We talk about his role in that show, what got him into acting, and much more. Hope you enjoy.
Hey, like, how's it going, man?
Hey, going great. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Thanks so much for taking the time out to chat with me. You're playing Chewy on $1. Can you talk a bit about that role and kind of the nature of the structure of the show?
Yeah, sure. So I'll start, I guess, with the show, really. The show, is centered around a potential murder. In the first episode, we find a crime scene with tons of blood and no bodies, and forensics pointed out to be from at least 7 different people. And it takes place in the ground of a steel mill. And that's sort of the central plot point to what becomes an unfolding of a real look into this, middle America town. It's set in Pittsburgh or right outside of Pittsburgh. And so the series is structured different than I think a lot of other series, in the sense that it's kind of like a novel. So there's this dollar bill. It floats from person to person, episode by episode. And whoever holds that dollar bill, you kind of get their perspective or their point of view of the town, as well as a look into their life. Some of those dollar holders have a lot to do with the crime. Some have nothing to do with the crime, but all of them reveal what the politics, what the life, what the racial imbalances, the economic imbalances are in the place that we live. Chewy is a local cop, pretty blue collar, kind of wise ass of a guy. He's a sort of lunch pail kind of guy. And he has, viewpoints that kind of mirror the kind of world that he grew up in. I think he's not the most open-minded guy, but at his heart, I mean, he's like a really, really good, really loyal person who just doesn't know any better at times. And in the end, more than anything, it was an absolute ball buster. I think that's the place that Chewy is the most comfortable.
Can you talk a bit about how you got into acting and kind of what first kind of got the bug in you about being on stage?
Yeah, I have a really specific story. So I was in college. I had transferred because my parents were divorcing from the UMass Amherst to State University of New York, Albany, just for economic reasons, just divorce that. And I was focused on being either like an economics or a sociology major, and actually got my first degree in undergrad in sociology. When I transferred to Albany, one of my best friends from high school was at that school, and he kind of pushed me to take an acting class. He thought I'd enjoy it. He'd done it. He was a theater major. I thought it was the most, the biggest waste. What are you going to do with a degree in theater? And I took an acting class. I really enjoyed it. And then I took a second acting class. And in that second class, we had learned these content-less themes. They're kind of structured like, oh, hi, it's you, yeah, or something like that, like completely innocuous with no circumstance at all. And we were told to come into class and memorize it. So I came in with the scene memorized. I was paired up with this actress named Kim, who I definitely had a crush on. And he put us in the circumstance that we were a couple. It was last night around midnight. We got into a fight, and I walked out, and it's 8 a.m. now. We haven't spoken, and I haven't been heard. And we came in, and we did the scene, and he asked her if she got what she wanted. She said no. I kind of steamrolled in and out of the room, kind of angrily, I guess. And we did it again, and then I just don't know what happened. At some point, he must have told us to go on off the text, and this entire scene unfolded, and I literally woke up from it when the class started applauding. And I'd forgotten that I was in class, forgotten that I was in a scene. So that those moments, Kim was my girlfriend, and we were reconciling. I'm pretty sure we were just about to kiss when everybody started clapping. And at that moment, I was done. That, you know, my plans prior to that were I wanted to be a lawyer for like the ACLU or something, like a good Jewish boy from Queens would do. And all of a sudden, I woke up to something that was just, it felt like the most honest contact I'd ever had with a human being. And that feeling of getting lost in the moment is, I think, the high that I chase. And when it happens, it's one of the best feelings I've ever experienced.
Do you stay involved with stage theater to keep that excitement going?
Absolutely. I mean, live theater is, it's definitely a passion of mine, but also I think you have such an immediate relationship with an audience, such a reciprocal relationship that, that is intimate in a way that film and TV exists in a different way. It's different. You're there with them, and you can feel their energy. Hopefully they can feel yours, and it's like we're all involved in this world together, and the response is so immediate that there is quite a charge, on top of the fact that, there's no second take. There may be another performance the next night, but what happens in that moment is the only thing that's happening in that moment. So it's hyper-focused, hyper-alive, and it's something that I will always do and want to do, alongside film and TV work.
How do you stay mindful of that energy when on camera and you don't have that audience and that immediate response? When somebody might be calling cut and having you do the same line 3 or 4 different ways, is there a way that you keep yourself kind of in that moment?
Yeah, one of the joys of doing film and TV work is the fact that you get multiple takes and get to try things in different ways. And what that also allows is a trust in a few people. One of those is always the other actor or actors in the scene. But if I can really feel my feet on the ground and listen and respond to what that actor is doing in that moment, not in what was in the last take, or not in how I think the moment's supposed to go, but in what they bring to the moment. Because whether they're a little bit more tired, a little bit more hungry, whether something on the look on my face pisses them off, or vice versa, there's always some kind of nuance that is going to change that. And then you add into the mix a director, like on this job, we have the true joy of working with Craig Doble, and Craig is directing all 10 episodes. He's remarkable in his work with actors. With small adjustments, sometimes big adjustments, he's really playful, he really lets you play. And sometimes you'll come into a take, you don't realize it, he's whispering to the other actor's ear, really piss him off, or try to make him break, or come at him gently this time. And so you never really know what that other actor's going to give, because it might have been directed to try something different, and at the same time you've gotten a different direction to try a different tactic to make the scene unfold. So with that, you're kind of always at the ready, and you're also at the beck and call of what the moment brings. And so it's kind of what a lot of us on this cast have talked about, how much this feels like theater, because there is so much play and a sense of improvisation, moment to moment, that really makes it exciting.
Do you feel like you've got to, or that you get to settle into Chewy, getting to do multiple episodes versus something like The Diggers or The Tangle of just being a single production movie?
Yes, absolutely. I think by the time we wrap this will be the longest on screen that I've ever lived in a character. And though I've done plays that run as long, I can definitely feel a character in body. It's also not an hour and a half or a 2 hour play. This is essentially like a 10-hour movie. And so Chewy now to me feels a part of me. I understand his impulses. I understand really where his heart is. And I've learned a lot about his fears, his insecurities, and he's and the way that he overcomes them. And a lot of that is attributed to really good writing, but also a lot of that is being skinned. Because it's interesting, moments that were sort of improvised between myself and some other actors and team started to show up in iterations of the later script, because they, as a production team, are also watching that and seeing how Chewy is coming to life through me and how other characters are coming to life through other people. So it feels symbiotic. It feels like, oh, they're writing towards what I've been doing. But it's also possible that I'm doing what I'm doing because of the way the writing goes. It just feels like they're really going hand in hand. And there's this real collaborative thing that has now worked its way into my own body. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know what Chewy is. I know this. I know his Pittsburgh dialect. I know how to kind of sit in him. My body language changes a little bit when I'm in him. And it's now done without thought. It just kind of happens, So I'll be at the dinner with the cast, and I'll say something, and someone will be like, "Easy, Chewy," and I'll realize that I just kind of slipped into that energy when we're sitting there. So it's fun. It's a fun place to get to.
Do you remember, was there a particular moment where maybe your stomach settled a little bit, or you thought, my mom's going to back off a hair, I'm truly professional, I can show a paycheck from this?
I mean, that's a really interesting question. I think that happened in stages in different places at different times. There was a time when I was in New York, and I was in my early 20s, and I started getting regional theater jobs for like $500, $600, $700, $800 a week. And for a while, I was doing like 3 or 4 of those a year, and I really felt like I was a working actor. However, I was still in New York, living in the 3rd floor apartment at my mom's house, rent-free. So it made that super easy. Then, when I went off and did the Pacific for HBO, I realized that I was part of something that felt important. I was making, a real living for the first time in my entire career, my entire life, and working with a group of actors who, person by person, I respected their work. And to be honest, that group of men and women, we are still fans. Some of my best friends in business there. So that moment was the time, I think was the moment really that I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not just chasing this, I'm doing this. This is my first real step into the business. And when I came back from shooting the Pacific, there was a little bit of a lull professionally. But once like the trailers, teasers started coming out, all of a sudden the energy around me and my own career started picking up as well. Because all of a sudden I started booking guest star after guest star after guest star and getting to be on set and really amazing people, And so I would say that's probably the thing that made me realize, like, oh yeah, no, you're no longer hoping to be an actor. You are one. And I think for myself, definitely, and I think for a lot of actors, that's always a struggle because it's, at the end, you finish a job, you're never sure where the next one's coming, but that solidified something for me, looking back, for sure, and it's a corner got turned at that moment, for sure, to come towards my way.
Thank you so much for taking out the time to chat with me about all this today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, man, it's my pleasure, man. Thank you for taking the time as well. I appreciate it a lot.
Have a great rest of your day.
All right. Thanks, guys.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast and a member of the Electric Sweater Podcast Network. We are exclusively listener-supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/tvdudes. You can like us on Facebook and Twitter at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is by our friend and original TV dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith. To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com and electricsweater.com. I'm Grant Davis. Thanks for listening.